Hello, and thank you for joining me again. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about a channeled message that was channeled from Bashar. If any of you are familiar with Bashar, that's amazing. Those of you that are not, you're in for a treat. Um, but yeah, we're going to talk about um, something that he is channeling for the world at this time that we're in, and it's very important and pertains to these times we're in. But he's speaking specifically on ET beings that will be in contact with us, and I find it very interesting that these first beings that he speaks of are exactly the beings that I saw during my near-death experience when I was 13. And, as synchronicity or irony would have it, I literally just did a video segment on near death experiences. And this one particular lady's testimony of her visions that she was shown of what's going to take place between 2024 and 2026 on our planet with earth changes and human evolution. So I love the connection here. So I want to share this with you and let you hear what he has to say.
Good day. This transmission has been titled Your ET Neighbors, and it is for the purpose of delivering to you more information that will increase the probability of contact in the years to come by delivering information on different ET groups over a period of time, one or two groups at a time in these transmissions, to familiarize you with who is in the neighborhood, who's been interacting with Earth for quite some time, who will continue to interact with Earth in various ways. So again, it increases your sense of the reality of what's going on around you and give you a
Get
better,
ready.
more grounded awareness of the neighborhood in which you live as a planet. So we will begin this particular delivery by talking about a group of extraterrestrial or extra dimensional beings that have been
Dimensional.
referred to generally by many people on your planet that have interacted with them as the blue men. Now, these beings, the ones that are interacting with Earth,
And I just want to bring to your attention to your memory files to think about how the Egyptians, the Hindu, several cultures have statues, paintings, depictions, written stories of blue beings. Okay.
are fundamentally energy beings. They have the ability to take what appears to be human form, although they will mostly appear as an outline, a silhouette that is a glowing blue form, their features being relatively obscured because their true nature is energy. And in their quote unquote natural state, you would perceive them as blue floating orbs of light. But you can see them in many cases, when you do encounter them, changing back and forth between the orbs of light and the humanoid silhouette. They will generally appear to be relatively tall, perhaps 7, perhaps 8 feet in your counting. That's just a representation of the amount of energy coming through. Again, it's not that they actually have or possess this physical stature, but it is the way they are interpreted by your reality. It's the way they present themselves in your reality. Now, they come from a civilization that actually exists on 3 different planets in their area of space. Their original planet allowed them to create a civilization where many of the so-called scientists or researchers or explorers found a way to convert themselves and exist as energy beings. However, the majority of the civilization remained physical and went on to colonize 2 other planets as they spread out among the stars. So their civilization exists on 3 different worlds. They are exploring at this time a potential 4th world upon which to expand their civilization. But what we are saying is that their civilization exists in 2 fundamental forms. Truly, solidly physical, just as you are, and the ones that have learned to convert themselves into energy beings, which are the ones that are interacting with your planet at this time. The physical ones are not. But the ones that are interacting with your planet are doing so not only for the purpose of observation and study, as is true of many ET races who are interacting to some degree with Earth, but they also are quite compassionate, quite peaceful, and they have, shall we say, a tendency when interacting with humans on your planet to encourage those humans to change from a warlike civilization to a more peaceful civilization. They have even rescued people in wartime situations, removed them from the war. They have healed many people on your planet who were injured in war and
Or
from
other
other causes.
things.
Because again, they are energy beings, they can vibrate at a frequency that allows a person to match their frequency and allow rapid healing to occur. They will often observe warfare scenarios, and they even have the ability
Foo
for
Fighters.
people, sometimes, not always, depending upon their destiny, because the blue men will not interfere with your destinies, your choices, but they have from time to time, when it is appropriate, even removed humans from your planet and taken them to live on a planet where there is nothing but peace. Now, when they choose to do this, it is usually because a person has been gravely injured, perhaps even fatally injured in some sort of wartime scenario. They have the ability to actually, in certain cases, resurrect these people, resuscitate these people, and allow them to be placed on one of these planets where they can experience a life of peace away from war. So the blue men, as they are called generally, which
And I will just add to that that they've been known to do that here on planet Earth and leave the person here as well. I've witnessed this on 2 occasions personally.
doesn't mean there are not females among them, but this is how they present themselves and how they have been labeled by your people, because that's how they seem to appear, as a male silhouette, glowing blue, obscured features, very tall, very energetic, very kind, very
Very
compassionate,
asexual,
very peaceful.
no signs of
These beings
sexuality,
are continuing to interact with your people from
gender.
time to time, though they generally remain in the background, because again, they cannot really interfere with anything you have chosen to be your own destiny. But nevertheless, they will appear to those in need from time to time to assist and aid them in either their healing or their removal to another place where they can experience lasting peace. And their energy on your planet gives you a greater opportunity to seek peace for yourselves
Yes.
by matching their frequency. Now, they have restricted themselves to some degree to the different kinds of individuals they may interact with.
Now listen.
They may broaden their ability to interact with more of your population as the years progress. You will find in general that they will interact more often than not with the kind of people on your planet you call the indigenous groups, American Indians and so forth, because of their adherence to some of the old ways of relating to nature. Because again, they are very strongly connected to the idea of nature as the blue men. So, in letting you know that they exist, you can open your minds, open your hearts, allow your energy to flow more freely, knowing that they are among you, whether you see them or not, and they are helping
because they're dimensional.
with their energy to give you more of an opportunity to choose peace and healing for yourselves so that you may arrive at a time on your planet or whatever version you shift to that is more representative of peace and no longer or never has experienced the idea of war,
Hmm.
strife, disease, struggle, and pain. So just open up to the idea of the blue men and see what happens energetically in your lives as you move forward.
And yes, we really can have that type of life. It's tangibly real and available now. I have demonstrated this time and time again. We can help to heal each other in so many ways. So many ways. And our planet.
We will discuss another group during the meditation that will follow the monologue and questions this day of your time. But for now, we invite you to open up, to engage us with your questions, and allow us to be of continued service to you.
Now, I was going to stop the video right there, but I actually went ahead and listened to a little bit of what he was saying as an answer to this gentleman's questions. And they are also very pertinent to now and to you, all of us.
Good day to you, Bashar. Thank you, and I'm immensely grateful for being here.
As we are grateful and deeply appreciative of the interactions with all of you. What would you like to discuss?
First of all, we're immensely grateful for you being here, and you have no idea how much grateful we are. But
Yes, I
yes,
do.
it may you are okay, especially this unusual time that we are in.
Yes, especially now.
Okay, I just have a few quick questions, and I won't
Yes,
take much time.
it's all right.
Regarding our ET neighbors, I know that we have to be at a vibrational state that we will be able to contact, or they will be able to contact us.
Yes, although that's not as necessary for some of them as it is for others.
Now pay attention.
Thank God. All right. So I was asking that it is true, it's our free will, but can we choose them to please contact us or kind of forcing on us or somehow kick?
It's not about forcing, it's about following the formula, raising your vibration to the appropriate level, and being the kind of person that they would then be natural in contacting. But again, you have to trust the timing.
Okay, but I don't believe that humanity is where they will be able to contact. I'm just saying that sometimes a car may.
Here is something perhaps that is important for you to understand. We
Listen,
talk about the idea of disclosure, we talk about the idea of open contact, but remember, depending on the culture that someone belongs to, there are already ongoing contacts happening on a regular basis, and some of these contacts have been going on for generations.
so
It's
basically, what he is saying to this man is that if you are so willing to meet our ET brothers, star family, whatever you want to call them, neighbors, then you have to be able to raise your vibration enough to do so. I don't know how many times I have heard someone say to me, "Oh, I wish I was as lucky as you to get to see at least one type of UFO or alien. I don't know why they don't want to come and see me." But you have to be on that right vibration. And what does that mean, really? Does it mean you have to try harder to be a better person? It means you got to try harder to be a better you for you. Love yourself, forgive yourself, reckon with the things that you've done wrong, understand that you didn't know better, or if you did, it was a bad choice, and that you're not going to do it again. Make amends for it within yourself, within others, so on and so forth. Doing that inner work, right? That inner soul growth. That's how you raise your vibration. And I'm not saying that people are bad people just because aliens don't speak to them. On the contrary, I'm simply saying you're not on the right frequency yet. And so until you're ready to receive that message and be tuned in to that channel to hear that message, it's just not going to reach you. It's just not. And perhaps there's even some who fear any type of interaction with another being. And so they would think, oh, well, that's my failsafe to not have any interaction. And again, I'll say that's not true either, because certain people are taken for various different studies and reasons. And then if you're not ready to receive that information that you were taken, they just swipe it from your mind until you are ready. And that choice is always yours. When are you ready? That choice is always yours.
It's just that most of you don't know about them because they're usually taking place with people that are more connected to some of the ancient ways, connected to nature, so on and so forth, things that are more representative of the kinds of people and the kinds of relationships that some of the ETs find more compatible. So when we talk about the idea that open contact is about to happen in the future, we're actually only referring to certain cultures on your planet that haven't yet allowed themselves to open up enough or connect to nature enough or be themselves enough for that contact to occur in their culture. But there are cultures on your planet that have been having contact for thousands of years.
So these prophets or seers, and let's say, for example, Jesus,
Yes.
were they a human or were they also connected?
But they were hybridized like all of you, but they understood how to be fully more what they really were in terms of expressing all the abilities that each of you
Hear that?
have.
Listen to that once again.
For example, Jesus,
Yes.
were they a human or were they also connected to?
Well, they were human, but they were hybridized like all of you, but
Like
they
all of you,
understood how to be fully more what they really were in terms of expressing all the abilities
standing
that
in their
each of you
full power.
have, but are lying dormant within you because you're not allowing yourself to realize your full potential.
Okay, okay.
Because
Will
you
you
are not
please help me
allowing.
with this idea that there's no outside
You're not allowing yourself to realize your full potential.
reality, and the outside reality is a reflection of my own belief? Yet I see my hand and I see Bashar and I see a lot of people are listening.
Yes.
How do I add up that there's no outside reality?
You are misinterpreting the idea when we say there is no outside. We mean there's no outside to existence. But you can create a reflection within existence of something that appears to be outside of yourself. In the same way that when you look in a mirror, your reflection appears to be over there, but it's not really. It's all the light coming back to your eyes. There's really nothing over there. So the idea is that the outside is simply an illusion that you create for your own purposes, for your own convenience to experience certain things. So don't misunderstand what we mean when we say there's no outside. There is outside as an experience. There's just no outside to existence.
So I'm talking to Bashar, that does exist.
But you're talking to your version of me. You're creating your version of me in your consciousness, knowing that I exist on a fundamental level. You are willing to match my vibration enough to create your version in order to communicate with me, just as I am creating my version of you to communicate with you. Your version of me may not exactly be my version of me, and your version of you may not exactly be my version of you, but it's close enough vibrationally that we can actually exchange the idea of information.
All right, right, okay. And on that issue, when do we say this is a belief and when it is actually a fact?
There
Now,
are only
listen.
5 facts. Now, we understand you can say it's a fact that I'm experiencing this, but that doesn't mean the experience isn't created from a belief. Do you understand?
Let me give an example.
Sure.
Okay, there are 40 million people live in California,
Yes.
30 million cars, and
Yes.
they burn like 20 million gallons of gas every
Yes.
day.
Yes.
So I say it's factually, I, as a person in California responsible for global warming
Yes.
and all these fires that we have. So
It
this
is a
fact, or
fact.
this is a belief.
It is a fact that you have created that experience with your beliefs. That's the way you use the term fact. In other
Listen.
words, these things can change. And if they can change, they're not fundamental facts. They're temporary facts that you've created with your belief systems. So when we say fact, we mean things that cannot change, ever, for any reason whatsoever. We're talking about the fundamental structure of existence itself. But the facts that you're experiencing in your reality are simply the product of your belief systems, and they can be changed. Therefore, at most, we would call them temporary facts rather than something so factual it can never be changed.
Okay, in this version of reality I'm in, would the global warming get rid of the humanity?
If it continues in that way, yes, it can be the destruction of the environment on your planet, as has happened on other planets. So the idea is to shift yourself by following your passion in the formula that we give you, shift yourself to different versions of Earth that are already more reflective of something other than those experiences that you don't prefer.
You see?
At the same time, the way you do that is by acting physically in the best interests of demonstrating to people how to do things, how to act, how to make choices that are more representative of a different kind of world. So that's what makes it easier for you to shift there and also give others an opportunity to do so as well, should they choose to do so, by seeing an example in you of the kind of behaviors that would be more representative of the kind of world you prefer.
Hence is the real reason to share these kind of videos. My video, his video, many videos. Share them, share them, share them with everyone that you know and love, every group that you're in, every social media platform that you're on. Share them far and wide, because the more of us that know this and share it, the faster we can shift to this more peaceful, beautiful time line.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Uh,
Does that help?
Definitely. Can I ask one or two more questions? Do I have
Well,
time?
again, that was a question.
Yes. What do we take from this life to afterlife?
You take your experience, you take what it is you wish to apply to your own path, your own growth, and go on to the next adventure, whatever that you choose that to be.
And
Whatever
when
you
we
choose
say
it to
thank
be.
Bashar or thank God, who we are thanking? When we say
Yourselves
thank
in a
God.
different reflection.
So if I say thank God, that means I'm thanking myself.
Well, you're thanking the idea of the whole concept of existence.
An aspect of the creator. Each one of us are a different camera lens, a different recording device, a different physical experience of the one.
Itself, you are expressing gratitude at being a part of it. So I'm not saying it's completely just yourself as an individual, but you are a part and an expression of all that is. So in a sense, you are being grateful and in appreciation of yourself, but simultaneously also as the whole of everything that is beyond you as an individual.
Right. Which is like a full circle moment because there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying thank God or thank you, Jesus. Nothing wrong with it at all. The awareness of understanding that you're part of that whole and that you're special. That's the little part that you're forgetting. That's the little part that needs to be added to the equation because you are special. All of you.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are welcome.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Dante. I am from Pennsylvania, but I live in Guatemala. My question is about last year's transmission, The Shifting Window of Contact, in which you mentioned it is very important to vote. You said that our political situation must change in order for contact to be accessible. You said that it had to relate to leaders who seek absolute power. I believe some people in your community that I see online are misinterpreting that, so I would love if you can share more clarity. Another thing you mentioned is that it is important to mail our votes in, except that was encouraged due to coronavirus, and now we're seeing that the postal service is being defunded, and some of the systems that would sort mail are also being removed. I'm wondering if you can speak to what is the best way for us to make sure our vote is recorded and heard in our shifting circumstances. Any clarity is so super greatly appreciated. Thank you. I love you. Goodbye, Bashar.
Again, whatever way is the path of least resistance for you. If it has to be the idea of mail, and it seems like that's the obvious choice for you in your situation, then by all means understand that that is the path of least resistance for you. If it's actually showing up physically to cast your vote, then that's the path of least resistance for you if synchronicity makes that obvious to you. But the whole point of encouraging people on your planet and in your country to vote is simply, more importantly, not the political idea so much as it is the idea of taking a physical action that represents your preference of the reality that you prefer to experience. So when we talk
To
about
participate in this collective co creation.
encouraging you to vote, it has less to do with politics and more to
Focused
do with
thought.
the actions that would be representative that you would automatically be taking if you already existed on the version of Earth you say you prefer to exist on.
Ta-da!
Because remember, physical action is the language of physical reality, not words or anything of the like.
And it
It's
helps
simply
to feel that
taking the action.
emotion.
So even if you take the action and in one reality your so-called vote doesn't appear to be counted, that's not necessarily the consequence that matters. The consequence is having taken the action to the best of your ability. What happens after that will simply be representative of the reality you prefer in your reality and the reality others prefer in their reality, but their reality won't affect the effect you have created by taking the action from your reality. Because
And with that being said, for more clarity, you walk away from whatever action you just took. You walk away from it with the confidence and the faith that that is how it shall be. You don't go put your energy into worry and fear and what ifs after you take the action. You walk away letting it go, knowing that it will be so.
just because you can see things going on in someone else's reality that you don't prefer doesn't mean you're actually in that reality. So we're simply encouraging you to take the actions that would be more representative of the reality that you choose to be in, no matter what you see them choosing to do.
Right. Don't look at theirs.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have been studying the tarot system for about 28 years, and
Oh, how exciting.
oh, it is. It's my passion.
All
And
right.
a little while ago, I discovered a deck that allowed me to easily communicate with the deceased.
Yes.
That sparked a passion and an idea. Would it be possible for me to design a set of cards to communicate with extraterrestrials using symbols, numbers, and different images?
Yes.
Yes, and in fact, such a deck already exists because the channel co-created such a deck a long time ago with another individual. It may or may not be still available to you on your planet. As you say, it might be quote unquote out of stock or out of print. But that deck that was designed as an extraterrestrial tarot deck is called Contact Cards.
Okay, I'm going to look for that.
All right. Now, if that doesn't fully work or you have no ability to access it, yes, of course, it's possible for you to design your own. Of course it is.
Okay, thank you for that. Will crystal skulls be important tools after passing through the eye of the needle?
Yes, they
Okay,
will be important permission slips as they always have been, but because people on your planet are having more of a growing awareness of them, they can become more predominant in your society as permission slips that can aid and assist you in connecting to different things, not only about your own history, but also about what you typically call your future.
okay. And can I utilize crystal skulls at this time, at
Because
this
it's written
present
in the
time, to
card.
communicate or work with races, extraterrestrial races who also
And in the
utilize crystal
crystal.
skulls?
Yes, although not necessarily many of them will utilize crystal skulls as such, though they may have other versions of those permission slips that aren't necessarily fashioned after skulls.
Okay,
So, yes, you can make similar connections, but again, it's up to you to follow your excitement, because if it excites you, then there's a reason that it does.
okay. And the quartz skulls, because they have that recording ability, are there also other skulls that can be of value, like charoite or some of the other minerals?
Again, whatever you're attracted to is what will work for you for a variety of reasons, but you have to determine for yourself what you are attracted to. If you're attracted, the attraction itself tells you that at least at this moment you're attracted to it. It is something that can work in alignment with your belief system. Otherwise, you wouldn't be attracted to it.
Okay. I have an unusual question. Were our thoughts that we think generated outside of this reality, and are we limited to these thoughts that we have access to?
The thoughts that you think are generated from within your physical mind, because thoughts are a secondary level expression of the consciousness as it filters itself through the belief systems that make up your physical mind. So the idea is that there is first belief system, then the beliefs reinforce themselves with emotions, thoughts, behaviors, and then reflections of your experience in the idea of physical reality. So thoughts are generated from within physical reality to reinforce beliefs to allow you to continue to experience the idea of physical reality, because physical reality isn't real until you believe that it is.
Okay, so when we're outside of physical reality, are thoughts still there then? Are
Not
thoughts?
in the same way, no. It's more about recognition and knowingness rather than the idea of thoughts as you experience them in physical reality. You might, in a non physical state, now this is going to sound a little paradoxical, you might, in a non physical state, still think that you're thinking, but you're not really thinking in the same way you do as a physical being. It just might be that you're so used to it that you still think you're thinking, but in fact, what you're actually doing is simply more directly perceiving or knowing. Now, you can observe what you perceive or know, and that might feel like thinking, but it's not exactly the same process.
Okay. So I would love to have your thoughts on all of this, your questions if you have any, so that I can assist you further in your own soul growth and evolution and learning who you really are and standing in that power so that you can change how you feel about you, change how you feel, and change how you feel about the world around you and what you can do to help it. Until next time, be well and be blessed in love and light. Thank you for tuning in.